Uh, the guy from Iowa City, the guy who's a doctor, uh, he had been concerned about the quality of the audio. Yeah. Yeah, he popped in, he was there, and then my computer crashed before I could say hi to him. It's been a day. Uh, but yeah, anyway, though, there was interest in a few years ago, we talked about static web hosting, and there's a comment here. Uh, Yes, thank you, Will. There a few years ago, I talked about my Jekyll static web hosting stuff in place of using uh, all of the fun stuff like WordPress, and so not a great deal has changed since then. However, it's been a few years, and some people asked to recap it. So this is going to be static web hosting again. Uh, since most of the people here already know me, I'd hope, uh, or at least know of me, insert standard intro here. I'm Andrew Denner. I'm somehow still the president. However, we can hold elections afterwards here since I fail at being organized, apparently. Uh, I still am a senior scientific software developer until they change my title. I have no idea what it will be next, but yeah. And I have all of the standard social medias, and yeah, there's a link on my website. Uh, so take your pick, whether Facebook, LinkedIn, or the bird site, or the elephant site, whatever, it's all there. And I think I have a blue, I don't know, there's a stupid number of social media things, and I might answer in half of them. Mastodon, which is actually a federation of sites rather than one, but yes. And I I need to actually sign in and check to see if anyone's ever said anything, but I'm still on Hackaderm. And yeah. How did I start my web journey? Uh, like most children of the 90s, I mean, everybody started on front page. Usually probably was a fairly dodgy, whether or not it was legal or not, copy of it. But yeah, and of course, probably everyone also had here, if I click on the link to this, I'll have to pull it over onto another page. Come on, please. There it goes. I'm sure pretty much everyone has seen and had a website was under construction or something like that. Yeah, the funny thing, the search if that I'd used, and then since I was having trouble finding the exact one, I just decided to go with them. So yes, I think we all had a website probably if you were a certain age where you had the GIF under construction, and I don't know about you, but my website from that era, if it was still running, probably would still have that, as well as a counter of how few viewers there actually were there, as well as yeah, a whole bunch of embarrassing stuff that yeah, the internet was a different time. The glowing text that somehow was a JavaScript slash ActiveX thing. I mean, we've been there. Mistakes were made. So that then led to Dreamweaver. Again, still WYSIWYG, but less dodgy in its HTML output. It still was terrible, but it was at least somewhat compliant versus, well, you better be using IE because nothing else is going to show it right. Uh, and then, of course, I graduated to raw HTML, and you know, keeping an entire site looking good with raw HTML and or Apache. There for a while, I actually had a full-on Apache module thing where I was able to inject parts of HTML into to sort of make a dynamic page just using Apache itself rather than doing it through PHP. And it worked, but man, it was fragile and it was a lot of work. And then, of course, that led to the desire to just have something simple, something just to dump my thoughts into. Blogs were cool. I admit I still kind of have one. No one ever visits it. I don't even really visit it, but it's a good spot to dump some stuff if I have something that I want to remember how to run FFmpeg to transcode a video or something like that. I'll write a post, chuck it up there, and it's a good spot to be able to look back and see how to do stuff. And of course, that led to WordPress. And really, again, what was it that I wanted in a website? I just want a personal spot, somewhere to hang my shingle, to put on my resume, and to have host my resume to say, yes, I exist and I'm real. It's my web catch-all of, hey, I need to throw this file up there so people can download it or whatever. Host the resume, share my presentations, my thoughts, etc. And like I said, the brain dump to my blog. What didn't I want? I'm lazy. I didn't want to put much effort into it. I don't want to moderate comments because no one in the entire time that I had my WordPress site up, no one ever left me a comment that was worth anything other than, hey, your such and such little app that you threw together that was scraping stuff from XM to pick what random channel to turn to like 15 years ago doesn't work anymore. Whatever, I don't care. I also, in those comments, I don't want to deal with the spam. I don't care that you're selling 15-cent certain phallic member enlargers or whatever from China. I don't care, and no one who actually visits my website except for the bots actually care about any of that. So long before I even left WordPress, I lobotomized the comment section and just it didn't exist. Also, WordPress is great in that it's easy, but also if you want to make it look a certain way, I've fought more with WordPress than I have with LaTeX to try and make things look right. And it's an ongoing fight. And also, I don't like trying to have to worry about, okay, is things going to break when I update WordPress? Because that happened multiple times too. So WordPress, it's popular. It has a lot of plugins. Everybody uses it. Anybody who's non-technical can use it as a WYSIWYG-like thing to do content moderation. There's a lot of templates. There's a lot of, if you want to pay for a template, it's easy. It really is low effort. The cons, it's very popular. It uses PHP and everybody wants to hack it because if you can pop a version of WordPress, you can have your way with most of the internet.
Yeah, if you look at your access logs, even if you don't want a WordPress site, you will find crawlers basically daily coming by and
Yeah.
seeing if they can exploit it.
Everybody's just blatting out those crawlers, and everyone's always looking for vulnerabilities. It seems to always be updating because of the fact that everyone's always trying to hack it. And for a site where, like mine, where it's 99.999% static, it will go days, if not weeks, if not months, if not, I admit, maybe a couple times, couple of years without content changing. That's an awful lot of weight to be lugging around a full-on database with MySQL, PHP, and all of the stuff. There's a lot there, and it's not worth it. And you can't just grab the cheapest, crappiest host out there to host it. You can't just chuck it onto S3 and pay pennies a month to host it because you need that database, you need PHP, you need the right version of PHP. It sucks. So, and again, my fight to make it look right.
I will say they have gotten better. Like PHP app, WordPress has gotten better. Like the auto updates, like
Yeah.
it's a lot better than it used to be. Where WordPress was getting popped all the time because you had to go and update it. Like now, the WordPress generally just goes and just like once you install, it kind of just goes and just updates itself.
Yeah, WordPress is very good now, like you said, about updating itself and all of that sort of stuff. Now, in full disclosure, at some point, we probably better update the CIALUG website. It still uses WordPress. It's fine. It looks like it was written in the 90s, but I mean, it was. And yeah.
It's not.
Oh, 2000s?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like it was written in the 2000s, and that's because it was. I stand corrected. Thank you. And you know what? It works. But I mean, other than new events, we really haven't updated much. Static would be just fine, but we need the host for the email side of things anyway. So whatever, it's momentum at this point. And yeah, I also have a couple WordPress websites that I help keep the lights on because again they're non-technical stuff, and actually one of them, the people are so non-technical that they even struggle with WordPress. They want to go back to GoDaddy because they at least knew how to make it work, and whatever you do, you boo. But yeah, so in the end, I just wanted a static solution without having to mess with all of the HTML stuff that while when I was 15, 16, 17-ish, that was cool because I was a webmaster. And yeah, whatever, we get old and jaded, and the internet is no longer shiny and nice. So I just wanted to freeze my website in Carbonite and just make it work. Enter Jekyll. It's Wow, I really thought I put more on the slide than that. So yeah, Jekyll is Markdown based. It's running Ruby, and but I mean, really, other than you execute it to build your site, it generates the static artifacts, and you just chuck those artifacts wherever. So it's a little janky in the fact that when I was creating new sites to test this out, um, there were a few that were missing files, and there were a few there to be dragons. But once you get a site up and running and you have it working right, we'll play with it. It works nice. So first of all, what the heck is Markdown? It's kind of like if you wanted a readable uh, markup language that is, I don't know about you, but if you read HTML, yes, it's human readable-ish, but it's also you. Where this is intended, and I will send out this cheat sheet because I actually threw one together in LaTeX. Uh, and yes, so there is a PDF of this that I will send out afterwards. This is just a screenshot of it, and as you can tell, it very much was made in LaTeX. But of the stuff that really matters here, the headings, basically the more octothorpes you put in a row, it hashes itself out. So H1 is heading 1, all the way on down to heading 6. I'm not sure if it actually goes beyond that. I'd argue if you're using more than H6, you're doing something horribly wrong, and you should maybe consider not abusing the headings.
I don't think HTML supports H7, so I think that's the limit, actually.
Yeah, okay, well, that makes perfect sense then. But yeah, in fact, I don't know that I've ever actually used H6 other than to make stuff layout nice.
Use it to make things bold.
So yeah, so you can also put emphasis on stuff with 2 asterisks or 2 dunder there. A single asterisk makes it italicized, and if you put 3 asterisks together, it makes it strong. aka bold and italicized, unordered lists, ordered lists, etc. Links, I always have to look up because I can never remember the order, which one has the square brackets versus the rounded brackets.
Yeah, I have to look it up until you do it often enough.
Yeah, and I don't do markdown where I'm giving links often enough that, which maybe I should blog more and then it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, images, you can chuck your images in. Usually I just do a HTML image link just because I never actually remember that you just put a bang uh, a SHA at the front, and then you can have your image right there. The ticks give you inlined code. Uh, if you put like two ticks together, it ends up being instead of inline, it's an out of line code. Uh, and apparently LaTeX completely swallowed that. That would be that code block that I'm talking about there. It would actually be triple ticked there. Uh,
So fun fact,
but
a lot of the stuff also works in Discord and many chat clients too, if you want.
How long has William been here?
he jumped in about halfway through your news update. I will. Uh, so
Howdy. Oh, and if anyone wants, I can tell you right now, if you start showing off all your notes and you're using Markdown and anything that involves GitHub or GitLab for issues, for README, whatever, people, all the business people look at you like you're a god, and you will have to give entire talks about how to use Markdown in your respective organization. So, this is very important. Pay attention. This is more than just Jekyll here. Learn Markdown. It is literally like simpleton LaTeX.
yep.
It's used basically everywhere, like he said.
Yeah, and that's what's great about when I'm making a README file or something like that to throw on GitLab or GitHub. You just you can make it look pretty, and it's not ugly like just raw text is. And yeah, so that's great. And also, uh, GitLab and GitHub both have pages that you can generate this Jekyll sort of stuff and host your static website. We'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, some of the other stuff here were like footnotes. I've never actually put them on a website, but if you're completely old-fashioned like that, you totally can. Uh, Inline HTML is usually where I live, where, like, for example, I know you can create a table using pipes. As we'll see when we look at my website, I need to go back through and fix one because clearly whatever I did in my Markdown, Jekyll did not render it properly, and it's just a sea of pipes and uh, dashes. So yeah, that didn't work great. So I just need to go through and HTMLify it, and yeah, that helps a
So,
lot.
pro tip on the pipes, because for the tables and that kind of stuff, if you forget the line where you like basically it goes your header column, or your header row, and then the row underneath it, you don't put the lines like that's in this example table. You only need about 3 dashes, and then if you put a colon on either side, we'll set the justification for it. Should I
Cool.
just write out a line for that in the chat? I'll do.
Uh, here, bring this over. Uh, yeah, so what we'll show there. And yes, I do use Markdown and VS Code. Thank you for the suggestion of Mermaid and Preview as plugins. That would be nice there. Uh, Yeah, the other real nice thing, completely unrelated to that for GitLab, and I believe VS or GitLab and GitHub as well, is that if you have a Jupyter notebook and you just chuck the Jupyter file that you save out to just host it there in Git, it actually will render itself the way that it should. So it's great for creating up documentation of how to use code and stuff like that. But yeah, unrelated. But yeah, so anyway, though, this is just a brief primer to Markdown, and the stuff would have rendered properly had I installed the ASCII or the emoji package for uh, uh, LaTeX. I didn't care enough, but yeah, you can do cute stuff like Smile Rocket +1, and it works in Markdown as well. So the next step here would be to start up a demo here and show you guys a little bit of how things work. One of the easiest routes here is Jekyll actually has a surprisingly good set of documents. And apparently that link doesn't actually work in meeting notes. Cool. Okay, well, so what we'll do is just pull up a browser here and then just find it that way. Please. And apparently I'm using Bing today. Yay, completely unhinged, but Jekyll templates, although that is something that we'll talk about here next. Jekyll, there it is. So yeah, as you can see, it is a Ruby website, but they do have fairly good documentation. And as a quick start, their start is actually fairly good. So let's just go ahead and pull up a Docker image here.
I believe
And
Jekyll might be the engine behind a lot of GitHub pages and GitLab pages. I gotta double check that though.
it is. Okay, so here I'll make this a little bit bigger so people can see. Basically, I'm just running Podman in place of Docker, the standard RMIT. I'm posting, I'm mounting in a volume here of my files, and I'm carrying through port 4000 to localhost so that you can actually get it. And I'm using the image Jekyll, and I'm just telling it to run bash. And when my machine crashed, apparently Podman did not come back up. I did not make enough sacrifices to the demo gods, apparently. But that's okay. We'll quick launch it. No, I do not want to update to the newest version of Podman mid-presentation. Oh, dear.
Right button.
Trying to dial TCP, you've gotta reach out, not dial.
Yeah, because everything is a...
Email dial.
You gotta send that.
Okay. Okay. Come on, start. Okay. Please, please, please. Okay, so while that's still starting up here, we can take a look at what does a Jekyll website actually look like. And apparently I'm getting clicked. My panics. Okay, so let's just quick take a look here. Since I have everything pulled down here and the Linux machine is not started yet, we'll just take a look. And it would be in my user. Also, lesson learned, I need to cut down the number of folders that I have named source because, yeah, because I have a C source and my username source. So here is my blog. So the stuff that really matters here is that we have a gem file, and that's where we say what stuff we actually care about. And the install, it's sort of like a um, when you're using in Python your requirements document. Thank you. So in here, this is where we actually start out with our stuff. And really when we start out, the part that really matters is the fact that we have Jekyll and what version we have. Honestly, if you just type gem Jekyll, that will be good enough. Yeah, this is also where you can label what other stuff you have. We've got a few gems that I have installed for plugin sort of stuff, but whatever, they don't really matter. The other big thing that you're going to care about is this config.yaml. And if I could actually see where I'm clicking. This is where you're going to set up the stuff that matters about your site. For example, what your email is, what sort of description you have, what the URL is, what sort of plugins you need, all those sort of things. And then the other last spot that really matters, which Podman apparently did not start. Why are you not starting today, Podman? Run. Okay. So the other part that really truly does matter here is in your underscore. These underscore sites or pages are all the stuff that are Jekyll related. And then the other folders are like, say I have images that I want to post on my site. I drop them into the image folder, that sort of stuff like that. But if you look at in the layout page, this is where my template's at. And so like the home page, it actually has what it should look like and various stuff like that. And a lot of Jekyll, you'll see these triple dashes and then what sort of layout it should start off of. And then this is where you can do your HTML stuff to make it look right. And there's a lot of boilerplate in here, but it's easy enough if you wanted to, like, say, include, I don't know, a Google advertisement or the whatever web tracker you're wanting to see to be able to see if you're having any visitors on your site or stuff like that. You can totally tweak your settings there. So for example, like in post, I always have the dream that I'll end it on Hacker News and actually be enough traffic to make it worthwhile that I have advertisements or stuff like that. So this is where you can make a lot of tweaks like that to make it appear. And then the other spot that really matters is if you look at your posts, this is where you can actually create your blog post documents or stuff like that. And it is just purely uh, uh, just completely marked down. And the one trick is if you have something that you don't want to post, you just put a period in front of it. But all of Jekyll's stuff is date and then a dash and then whatever you're wanting to name it, dot markdown. And it cares about that sort of stuff. And if you put a date that's in the future, when you're that hasn't happened yet, that it will actually wait to post it till it's run in that time period. So if we look at my post here, this again is one of those sort of brain dumps, but you say, okay, make it look like post. Let's have the title for your post, what date it came into existence, and then add a little image. And then as you can see, it's just pure markdown. And as you can tell, my markdown isn't anything overly fancy. So now it's time to take a look at it and see what it actually showed up as. If we jump to and hit return. Here you can see my site. So if I jump to blog, which is the part that matters, and yeah, I go with these totally self-deprecating humor of it's like DevNull, but with a lot more less content. And as you can see, yes, I was playing with stuff, but yeah, uh, the one that I was demoing here is how to do HEIC to JPEG in Bash. And as you can see, it shows a cool image. And yeah, it's in HTML and it looks okay-ish. Nothing earth-shatteringly amazing, but it's a spot to dump my stuff, including resume, social media, presentations, etc. So now that we actually have things running, let's go ahead and install things. And as you could tell, have Podman now running, please. Okay, awesome. So now we just make stuff a little bit bigger. And as we were looking at in the instructions here, so I want to go ahead and install some stuff. So the command gem is sort of like either apt or in Python, if you're installing packages here, it's just for Ruby because yay, gems are cool. Run the command install Jekyll and bundler are two things that it cares about. And as you can see, it installed some prerequisites as well. And now let's go ahead and create a new blog site. So as you remember, I posted the slash my page into, or my website that I was currently on into slash web. So if we go cd slash web, as you can see, let's go ahead and just so that we're in a clean spot, let's go ahead and run the command Jekyll new. So the command Jekyll new is to create a new site, and whatever you put after that is what folder you wanted to create it in. So we're just going to create it in current, and as you can see, it's running the bundle installer here in web demo. And of course, this will be the point that it runs slow because why not? So as you can see here, I didn't install Rake, but whatever, it seems to still be okay if we okay, so if we go ls and look at some stuff here, now we can see, so APK, Vim. And also, just as a call out, this is an Alpine Linux image, so APK is how to install things. And Vim, config.yaml, you can see that it's, this is where you set up all of your stuff that matters there, like what is your theme, what is your plugins, all of that sort of stuff. And that's where you can also add excluded items and stuff like that to process. But now if we go and just run Jekyll, it will give you a hello world list of what things you can do, which let's go ahead and try S for serve. See if this actually will work. Okay, so if we go to localhost 4000, we can actually see what site we have. And it's an awesome site. Not very much there, but the nice thing about this is that there's two ways to do it. If you have the double dash incremental, it will actually generate as you update files. Or we can just go ahead and let's go ahead and make an edit. Vim index.markdown. And this is where we can insert type. Let's go. I usually like to add another octothorpe on the end just for symmetry, but it's not really needed, but it works. So let's go ahead and rerun that Jekyll S for host. And now if we update, now you see that you have the content, how now brown cow. So again, it's fairly easy to add stuff, change stuff. Markdown is just Markdown. It's nothing earth-shatteringly amazing. So let's, just in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump back to a little bit about where you can host it. And of course, it chooses the wrong direction yet again. Swap. Okay. Jumping through. So where can you host? GitHub and GitLab pages. You can set up a build process either with the GitLab or GitHub. One's build actions, the other one's, yeah, they both have the same sort of stuff. And you can basically build and host your stuff directly. It's free. It should be non-commercial-ish. And it should be fairly low traffic stuff. I know they don't really have a limit where they'll say, well, we're going to cut you off, but just to be a good citizen, if you want to host something that's going to be visited by the entire world, somebody's going to notice at some point. You can just chuck it on any of the S3-like environments, either Azure, Amazon, etc., and host it just as a static website. It works great. It's low cost, commercial grade. If you get enough visits that you can bring down S3, or your pocketbook isn't big enough to pay for hosting fairly small static websites, you're either doing something amazing or you're doing something horribly wrong. Or both. You can also just pay a couple bucks a month to host somewhere and just like SCP your files up to it. It's fine, it works. Find one of those Stack Social sort of deals where you pay a lifetime hosting for 50 bucks and call it good, whatever. So what I was hosting was the Jekyll actually has a built-in like debug website hosting. So what you can do here, I realized or just dev work. Yep. Yep.
But normally it would be a web server.
Yep. So what you can
Because
do.
it only generates static pages.
Yes. So what you can do is Jekyll build, and that will actually build the site rather than just hosting it. And remember, since I mounted my site with GitHub, here, if we do /watch, I have no idea if this will work across the magic of the internet here, but if we go back to source, let's just go ahead and look at October 24 CIALUG. The web demo is the one I created. And as you can see, there's a site that's generated here. And in there, this is all of the static that is your website. This folder is what you'd upload to wherever you want to host it from. So let's just go ahead and edit something here on the fly just to see if it works. Wonderful comment. And if we look back here, you'll see that it was auto-generated again. So basically, as you're developing stuff live, the builder will watch, and as you update things, it will update itself.
You don't have to manually run it.
Yep. And then once you're done with all the voodoo that you do, then that's when you can kill it, run your SCP or whatever you're using to push it to wherever you're hosting. Or if you want to host it inside of like either Podman or inside of like Kubernetes or something like that, you can just run Caddy or any of your web servers of choice, which that brings me here to the next slide. So the slightly more trouble way of hosting things. Again, sort of the more you pay someone else to do the stuff, the less heartburn you have on your side. But hey, this wouldn't be open source if we weren't taking on some heartburn and eating some Tums. So personally, I absolutely love Caddy as just a general, quick, dirty little hosting site. It is Go based. It's fast. It's good at either being a reverse proxy or just hosting files or stuff like that. It will automatically run Let's Encrypt if you have your config files set up properly, and will handle all of the Acme stuff that creates your certificates and all of that stuff. And plus, it's actually supports HTTP2 and HTTP3 as well as 1 as a fallback. It will host both secure, non-secure. It's just great, and it's lightweight. There's the 800-pound gorilla, Nginx. It's high performance. Its configurations are a lot more Byzantine in how they're set up, but you can do almost everything. And also I've run into, boy, that's a great feature. Well, it's only available in the pay version of Nginx or something like that. And since F5 is now the owner of it, you have to pay dearly for those sort of things. So if it's something that isn't in free Nginx, that's a lot more problems. I know there has been a fork of Nginx because the people were disagreeing and mommy and daddy weren't getting along, and I never did see how that actually turned out. I'm assuming the fork is happily running, whatever. And then of course there's Apache, which is the old standby true, but no one's ever been fired for using IBM. Not that they are IBM, but they are great for if you need to host PHP or all of that sort of stuff. Apache's the old tried and true sort of thing. And also I'd just like to call out that this is one of the coolest AI images that I've created in a while. It was supposed to be Tux flying an Apache helicopter, but yeah, he's just riding along. Yeah,
In on and fungible.
yeah,
I think my favorite is that it's, 4 rotors, but one of the blades is missing on each of the 4. So it's a 3 lopsided.
yeah.
And the flag is backward.
I think that's supposed to be in the background, like on a mountain, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, yes, otherwise the flag is very not glowy.
Yeah, so anyway, though, you get what you pay for. So at this point, I was going to demo how to run all of those different web hosting sort of stuff, but in the interest of we're already staring down almost 8:40 here, we can play with that a bit if you guys want. Otherwise, there are a lot of documentation on how to do that sort of stuff.
Instead of seeing GitHub, if you have a demo of that, because that would probably be how I would
Pushing
do
check
this.
it.
Oh, yep. So
And using pages or whatever. Yeah.
yep. So
Hypothetical builder.
yes. I don't have a demo in front of me, but we can just go. So I definitely don't have any experience with it in GitHub. I do have more in GitLab. And I know, of course, Will on the line here has an embarrassingly large amount of experience on GitLab.
Wait, you want an example of Markdown in GitLab?
Yeah, so I think he was like wanting to run a full website in GitLab pages.
I want to run a.
Oh, yeah,
single
it's
hub, but
Oh,
close enough.
just like just the README markdown for a project sort of thing?
oh,
Or
I got you for that. Give me a second. Example coming inbound.
It would, my use case is my holiday light stuff.
Wonder if that will do it.
If you just want to host just a single page, then there's the, if you create a repo called your GitHub username.github.io or something like that,
yeah,
then you just, literally whatever you put to your default branch and that repo will just get served.
yeah, and I believe I have that set up here, but that's an odd error message. Don't know that I've ever seen.
Are they having, because I was having an outage today.
Oh,
There it goes.
Docs the dinners.
Yeah.
I'll have to blur it out because.
Yeah, there's not many secrets in my world here.
Andrew, if you go to the chat, I have a
Yes.
link at the top that you might want to see for Markdown.
Okay, let me pull up the chat. Chat, there's my chat. Okay, here we go. GitLab Playground presentations.
Probably launching like 7 tabs in the back. I mean, you gifts, so you have to have the IE like popping 7 windows underneath it.
Yeah, I'm
Yep. Oh, yeah.
seeing it blank down there. So it's launch.
Yep.
Called it.
Yeah, so here, we'll pull up Will's.
Now, I will have to say this is old, so some of the image links are broken now because I didn't want to dump them in the wiki, but there are some.
But yeah, so the run that I do have here is just deploying into the public folder, and it's my site. Yeah, so it
If you
was
click on
working, but yeah,
deploy,
here.
if you click on deploy on well on your web page thing, it'll actually show you what the link is for the Andrew or for your Andrew site. That's the big thing that people
Yeah.
get kind of get lost. So click on deploy, and then there's like a link someplace in there for the actual web page because you have to because it expands. Yeah,
Pages. There we
pages.
go. Okay. So yeah, there it is being hosted in. Clearly, whatever I was doing here is munged, but yeah. So basically, the big things are you set up the deployment, and then as part of your build process, you have this GitLab CI, and basically all we're doing is setting it as a path. And yeah, there's a great set of documentation on how to do this. Will's is great too, but yeah. So if we go to deploy, we can look at what Will's actually looks like.
Oh no. This is just the wiki that I'm showing here from like Markdown. If you guys are curious, so if you want just Markdown just to show what's
Oh,
there.
gotcha.
And on the right side, you can navigate to other parts, but this is actually a presentation I did for the C-suite at Change Healthcare.